Hi everyone, Danielle Sousa here, and we need to talk about motherhood differently in this country. We give birth to people, and often when people are preparing to have a child, we think about, oh, you need to go to birth preparation classes where they teach you how to breathe through labor, and you need to go to lactation or breastfeeding classes, and you need to go to classes that will teach you how to put on a diaper and swaddle an infant and all these things. And those are all important caretaking things that we should learn. But there's a huge part of this conversation and a huge part of this experience that we as a culture are completely ignoring. And that is the fact that birthing and creating a human life is creating a human life. It's not just about being able to, do a swaddle 5 different ways. It's about the fact that you are creating a new human identity, a new human consciousness, and that can be really freaking scary. And we need to, as a culture, be able to talk about that part of it, that it's this huge philosophical switch, shift in identity, shift in priorities, shift in meaning and values. And we as a culture don't talk about it. We don't recognize that that is part of the transition. A lot of times we pathologize women who have a rough transition to motherhood as postpartum depression. And that's a real thing. And we, there are ways to help with that. But part of that experience is that we are in a culture that does not support us. We're in a culture that doesn't recognize that this is not only a shift into a caretaker role, but it is, I just created a human being. What? That's just so big. And we don't provide space for people to talk about it. And I think it's part of the devaluation of the role of women in this culture and this kind of just flattening of the female experience and the experience of motherhood. Motherhood is not flat. It is full of depth and meaning and purpose and wrestling with literally life and death. And we ought to give it the value, and we ought to support it in a few different ways. So one, how to change this. One, we need to change the way that we talk about our experiences as mothers and as people who are creating human beings. We should treat it as if we are creating human beings, because that's what we're doing, and that's important, and we should treat it as such. Secondly, we need to change our policies in this country. We need to give people paid parental leave, subsidized childcare, universal health care to actually help support the work of creating a human life and a human consciousness, because all of those people are necessary to make this world go around. And yes, they are important for this capitalist society to keep functioning. You got to have workers if you want to make the money. So at the very least, we should understand that there's a connection between these two things, and we ought to value the work that people are doing in the perpetuation of this system, right? And support women. And thirdly, we need to change the cultural conversation around this. We need to recognize that motherhood is not just about cute baby clothes on your registry and about, I don't know, 15 different ways to wear your baby to the park, right? It's about, you have just created a human being. You need to understand what it means to engage with another consciousness, the responsibility that comes with that, the existential crisis that comes with that. Women can have existential crises too. It's not just young men wandering around with cigarettes coming out of their mouths. New moms have them all the time, and we should value them, and we should treat them with respect, and we should provide spaces for conversation for women to be talking about this stuff. So if you want to come talk about this stuff, come to my website, daniellesousa.com. Tell me what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say. Okay, bye.